survive. These are the words that capture Stranger's timidity that is masked by his menacing complexion and gruff-sounding, exhausted voice. Words that sow a sense of desperation, hungering deep within the protagonist of Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD. For me, I've been reunited with Stranger after nearly 15 years since it originally launched on the Xbox. Seeing Oddworld Stranger's Wrath released in 2020 after having owned the 2005 Xbox exclusive is a strange reality. Stranger as a character had left a memorable impression on me in my younger years as he had the makings of an antagonist. But he's just struggling, trying to earn moolah to pay for a mysterious operation. To do that, the bounty hunter does what he does best: hunting bounties. The game takes you through 3 towns of an alien world set to the theme of a western. Outside of these towns are the outlaws that Stranger can capture, either dead or alive. Enemies consist of numerous gangs around the world. Each gang has various types of henchmen that can either be left to decay or backed up quickly for extra cash when the main bounty has been captured. The main bounties are bosses. Each one is unique with their own ways of being taken down, providing you have the right type of ammo and can knock their stamina down low enough. This is why stealth in Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD is favoured over action. It's just a shame the stealth mechanics are incredibly problematic. The only stealth mechanic is the ability to hide within some tall grass. But the act of being stealthy becomes a pointless exercise as the game progresses and the tall grass starts to become more sparse. Stranger is capable of 2 melee attacks, a spinning attack and a headbutt attack. However, he also has a crossbow, the key and standout weapon throughout Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD. For the crossbow, Stranger can equip numerous live ammunition in the form of critters that can either be purchased at the general goods store or hunted around the world. Equipping the crossbow does change the perspective, meaning you'll be going from a third-person platformer to a first-person shooter at your command. I felt the feature worked wonderfully, but there's still that irritation that you can't have it set specifically for first-person or third-person, especially if you're not a fan of a specific perspective. There's also the issues with the camera rotation and aiming options. Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD allows the player to use the right thumbstick or the gyroscope in the Joy-Con to aim or control the camera. Both of them are awful when in docked mode. The only way the gyroscope aiming works is when in handheld mode. The aiming in this mode feels just right and makes for a better experience. While the third-person platforming experience feels fluid, there are performance issues. However, when confined to smaller areas in the world, the game runs great. In the larger areas and outside of towns, the frame rate drops depending on your anti-aliasing setting. Dropped frames during travelling can be somewhat distracting, but the game runs well and doesn't cause significant battery drain. I was able to play for about 3 hours and the battery went from 100% to 57% in that time. And while textures might look better than the 2005 version, when up close they can look rough, but at least the sky looks beautiful. The subtitle situation is a complicated matter in Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD. In 2005 the game had no subtitles whatsoever. In 2011 the PS3 version had subtitles present throughout the entire game, including in-game cutscenes, cinematics and during gameplay. In the 2020 Nintendo Switch version, subtitles seem to be a mess. Some subtitles seem to be missing as the game progresses and gameplay subtitles don't seem to exist.
What do you got?
Howdy, stranger. You get the rest of them outlaws like you bag that one and we can get back on our feet.
The issue here is that gameplay dialogue can be essential to learning of locations or intel. There's even a button to make Stranger address the player personally about what the next objective is. After speaking to a representative about these mission subtitles, it was confirmed that a free DLC is heading to the game shortly after launch. The DLC would introduce full subtitles for all forms of dialogue in numerous languages. It's a shame that it's not available at launch, but it's still great to see numerous languages being supported in full. The performances in Stranger's Wrath are all memorable, with humorous quips that will stay with you and comedic situations that keep the game entertaining throughout its dark story. While there's not much to do outside of the linear progression in the main story, the number of bounties available keep the game lengthy. The scale of the world is impressive as well, considering that the game comes in at roughly 962 megabytes. Overall, Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD feels incredibly enjoyable to play, and despite being a game that's now 15 years old, it has been adapted to the Switch fantastically. The port certainly keeps the magic of the classic alive with the overhauled interface and impressive loading times. It's certainly an enjoyable single player experience, especially for fans of platforming adventures.